Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Rick McAvoy, photographer, host of the Photography Explained podcast, and a serial blogger and website creator. Now, this week on my blog, a different post, a change from real estate photography. Photography snobbery, 10 examples of it and why I hate it. Yes, really. Last week I wrote an email to my email list about photography snobbery. Now, it got quite a reaction, so I'm building on that in this blog post. This will also give me a break from banging on about the real estate photography, which I'm sure everybody is sick to death of hearing. Let's get straight to the points. So, what am I talking about with photography snobbery? Okay, number one, you have to use manual mode to be a proper photographer. Really? Now, I'm not saying manual mode doesn't have a value, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't learn how to use manual mode, because at some point you will need it. I use AV mode. I set the aperture, I set the ISO, and the camera sets the shutter speed. If I were to use manual, it would just mean it took me more time, easy for me to say, to set the shutter speed than letting the camera do it. And after all, I'd only be doing what the camera told me to do. So that's why you don't have to use manual mode. It's nonsense if people say that you do, so tell them to do one. Learn it though, because like I say, when you need it, you need it. Next one really peed me off. If you wear the camera strap that came with your camera, you look stupid. You know, the ones like Canon 6D with it all in big red letters and everything. It's like, it's not my thing, but why would you criticise somebody else for doing this? Why are people so small-minded and petty? This is the kind of thing that I hate. So that's another one. Now, I don't use a neck strap, but that's a different thing. You can't take proper photos using JPEG. Yes, you can. You can take rubbish photos in RAW. You can take rubbish photos in JPEG. You can take great photos in JPEG. You can take great photos in RAW. I shoot in RAW for a reason, but let me tell you something. I once did a shoot. I had an Olympus EM1. It was a lone E from Olympus, which was wonderful to try, and I really enjoyed it. I cocked up though because I didn't put the setting. I used the high-res mode, but I didn't set that to shoot in RAW, so it took high-res photos in JPEG. This was for a repeat client who I've done loads of work for before, and you know what? They never noticed. People don't really care. If you're happy using JPEG, use JPEG. If you want to use RAW, use RAW. Doesn't really matter, does it? You're a photographer. You aren't a photographer if you use autofocus. Yes, I read this not that long ago, would you believe? Why would you ever use manual focus? I mean, look at me. Got these things on. That's just so I can see my camera when I'm talking to it. So why would I use manual focus when I've got a Canon 6D? I mean, it's only got, I think it's 21 focus points. But you know what? I only need one focus point. I'm quite happy with that. So, yeah, one of them, isn't it? Just nonsense. Film photography is the only real photography. Now, I've got nothing against film photography. I'm not going to lie to you. Nothing against it at all. If that's what you like doing, fine. Knock yourselves out. I don't. Why would you? I can't see why you would, but that's just me. But I don't knock other people for doing it. HDR is cheating. Now, this is one of those pitchfork moments because lots of people think you shouldn't do HDR. You should get it right in camera with one shot. And to you people I say, no, you are wrong. There is nothing wrong with using HDR. All I'm doing is getting more of the lights and more of the darks. If I overexpose the photo by 2 stops, which is what I'm actually doing, I get more of the lights. If I underexpose by 2 stops, I'm getting more of the darks. Chuck them all together in Lightroom and I've got a photo that looks like a photo with just more stuff in it. How can that be cheating? That's called smart. Pitchforks. Oh, no. Editing photos is cheating. No, it's not. A photo converts light into something digital. Now, this isn't something I'm going to explain on my Photography Explained podcast because I don't understand it. Understanding it won't help me become a better photographer either, so we'll park that one. So, no, it's not cheating. It's fine. It's an accepted practice. A JPEG photo has actually been edited in camera. A RAW photo has no editing. It's a conscious decision to have no editing done in camera. So you as a photographer, me as a photographer, we can do the editing. Okay, so it's not cheating. Here's pitchfork moment number 2. Okay, you have to use layers to be a real photographer. No, you don't. I'm a real photographer. I don't use layers. I don't understand layers. I don't know why I'd want them, why I'd need to use them. I bought courses on it and it's explained what they are and it's all fine and good, but I don't need them. Somebody once emailed me saying that you got to use layers. I use layers and they've saved my ass so many times. I'm like, saved your ass from what? Just don't get it. You don't need layers. That's all I can say really, isn't it? You can't take good photos at noon. Well, you have to take photos at noon if you're doing the work I do. I'm not going to get an architect saying, can you come and photograph my brand new £10 million building? I'll meet you there at 6:30 just in time for sunrise, and then we'll come back 12 hours later and we'll do the sunset on the back of the building. What happens is that they say, yeah, I can meet you 9 or 10. You got a couple of hours and you're done, and that's it. And that's what you get. There's no more. So rather than saying you can't take good photos at noon, we should be talking about how you can get the best photos you can at noon when the light is not at its best, granted. You need the latest camera gear. No, you don't. I use a Canon 16. I'm not bragging. It isn't a thing. I've not made it a conscious decision that I'm going to use an old camera and bang on about it. The reason I use a Canon 6D is because in 2021 it is still a great camera. The camera before that I had was a Canon 5D. Now I've got photos in my portfolio which were taken with my Canon 5D. That's an old camera, isn't it? But let's think about this. If you need the latest camera gear to take good photos, does that mean that all photos taken back in the day with older cameras are rubbish? Doesn't, does it? So, nonsense. Get the best camera you can afford that you need. Learn how to use it and use it. But more than anything else, go out and take photos and enjoy it. Right, I'm done here. A bit of a rant, but I enjoyed that and I feel like writing a rant blog post every week now. I'm getting into the swing of it. So, thanks for watching. Why not check out my photography blog, rickmcavoyphotography.com. Why not check out my brand new real estate course? I couldn't go a video without mentioning it, could I? Just go to rickmcavoyphotography.com/start and you will find a link where you can buy it. Finally, check out the Photography Explained podcast with the imaginatively, I nearly got to the end then, didn't I? Titled website, photographyexplainedpodcast.com. Alright, I'm all done. Thanks for watching. I've been Rick McAvoy. I'll see you on the next video. Cheers from me, Rick.